Gotta unmute my mic. Amateur mistake. Anyhow, I've been having a little issues with EV Mux of the program I'm trying to use. It keeps dropping my background, dropping my video. Looks like it's running slow, and just the normal stuff. But thank you for joining me tonight. Hopefully, I'll get some people in here. Kind of drag our feet. I forget. It does tell me somewhere how many people are in the chat. It was like three. So very cool. Ah man, it's been a busy last couple weeks. I'm doing all kind of stuff. Man, one of the big things I want to talk about tonight is the interview I had with Tim Jones. And if you could tell by the heading that Tim has worked at a bunch of zoos. I think he said four zoos, five zoos, whatever it was. But he spent basically his whole life working at zoos since he's a young kid. Uh, Man, the stories he's got are pretty incredible. He wrote a book, and he's got a. You see a picture of the book. I'll bring it up here in a minute. Well, heck, I'll just do it now. So there's Tim, me, and the book he wrote. It's got some great pictures in it too. A lot of old pictures, and things like whenever the Fort Worth Zoo first started having their herpetarium, where all their snakes and amphibians and reptiles and amphibians and stuff are housed. He was one of the first people there to stock it with different critters. It's got like an endless number of stories. It's pretty amazing. I have another channel that's called Texas Snake ID, and I do have several videos of him telling stories from that book that I know he has in that book. Probably not now of all the stories I can't remember. I haven't had a chance to read the actual book, but I was given a copy of some of the uh, stories that would be definitely in that book when it came out. So he he's definitely a character. he he's done man. Just he's like a legend in the zoo world. Um, some of the stories I actually pulled them up here. I get some. I pulled my YouTube. You know, some of the stories he's got with his first date with his wife, which is his wife is incredible. She's she's like a saint, man. She's awesome. Uh, she's right there with him the whole time. If he had one end of the animal, she had the other. So she's amazing. If you ever get a chance, I don't know if you will, but if you ever get a chance to talk to her, that would be awesome to talk to her and uh, man, I want to interview her. I want to get her on film too. But she's kind of shy. She doesn't like to be on camera, but yeah, she's a character. The first time you went on a date with her, you went on a snake call. So that sounds like another friend that I have that did the same thing. Ended up marrying his wife. And the first date they went on a snake call. The difference was my friend got bit. Other friend got bit by a rattlesnake on his first date with his future wife. So she stuck around. Um, things like hand cramping with a large king cobra. A blind snake dealer. Imagine a blind snake dealer dealing with venomous snakes like ocean diamondback rattlesnakes and stuff. Pretty cool. Uh, spider monkeys. It's just a awesome stuff. So I drove down to Tim's place. He lives about an hour or so from me, and to do an interview. So I did I think we videoed for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so. I'm going to cut a bunch of that out. It won't be a total 45-minute video. But he he told some pretty cool stories. We had lots of fun. Uh, Hopefully, I'll get that edited up soon. I had a lot of it edited and kind of ready to go. And next thing I know, uh, it was it was irritating. The the file, the what was it? The what do they call it? It wasn't actually the file. It was the what do they? It doesn't really matter. But anyhow, so the file got corrupted. I was working on somehow. Windows did an update, and that's kind of what happens a lot. So anyhow, so it got corrupted, so I had to start all over again. So if you saw today on my Facebook page, I did quickly edit my phone. So my phone has a pretty good editor in it. So I grabbed my phone and uh, just did a quick edit. So I did a quick edit and pulled out just the part where he was talking about his book and how it took him like 3 years to write the book and to get it all ready to go. So it was quite a task to get that thing ready. Luckily, Richard Lippert has helped him out as an editor and publisher, kind of helped get it published. And if you want a copy of this book, you can look under the description of this in YouTube. There's a link there that you can go and get that book. It definitely worth. I think it's 39.99, but don't quote me. Go take a look and see what it was. It's actually I'm surprised that it was that cheap. I was looking through that book. I thought, man, this is going to be a $100 book, but it's not. So I would definitely highly recommend picking it up. I think you'll enjoy it. So what else do I have going on here? Let's look at some pictures. I have this shared, but I didn't have a chance to put them in any kind of order. So after visiting Tim, because he worked at Cameron Park Zoo, like the very first zoo he ever worked at. Let's go back to screen share. Sorry, I thought I was sharing. Here we go. Uh, so the very first zoo he worked at was the Cameron Park Zoo, and he ended up retiring from that zoo also as director, I believe. Director. Boy, I hope my number's right. It's been a while since I thought about that. But I think he was ended up being director. Cameron Park Zoo is really cool. If you've never been there, man, it is nice. It is a really nice zoo. The exhibits are well done. I know it's his idea to put a Brazos River exhibit. So basically, you go through a lot of the different habitat types of the Brazos River, land types like bears and mountain lions, and then you got a lot of the aquatic stuff too, which is absolutely spectacular. This is definitely one of the best zoos. It's not a giant zoo; it's a mid-sized zoo. It's got some really nice exhibits. What you like, and maybe the size, the sheer volume of animals. Man, it's just put together so well. Like, look at this; it's absolutely beautiful. I can't say enough about the zoo. You guys need to go check it out. The paddlefish, everything's really well maintained. The long-nosed gar, more paddlefish. Uh, but I'm really excited that I got to go out there. If anybody's on here, tell me if my audio is okay. And just a really cool exhibit. I would love to have win the lottery or something and have enough money to have a have an exhibit like that in my house. That would be totally awesome. Oh, thank you, Skitty. Oh yeah, see, let me see who's all in here. Looks like Skitty's here. We got outdoor and aquatics. Uh, Coro, hey Coro, I got to meet you this past weekend. That was pretty fun. It's nice to put a face to the name on a screen. I hope you enjoy this. And thank you, Skitty. It's $39.99. That's what I thought it was. Let's see. Let's see one more pictures here. Man, just really nice. Just huge exhibits. Of course, I'm you know heavy on the fish stuff. That's what this is a fish channel. Although I talk about all kind of stuff, but just talking to Tim, man, probably man, I need to go to the zoo. It's totally awesome. This was nice. If you know, of course, most channels a lot of killifish, and the Pecos pupfish is a type of killifish. So I thought it was really cool that they actually had a killifish on display, and it's an endangered species too, which is awesomely cool. Let's see if we can get Azure better. I have some video. I don't know if it'll play the. I don't know. Let's try and play the video. Let's see what happens. It was an awesome little display. Let's see who else is joined here while this is playing. Jeff Kane. You seen the notification? Oh, okay. We got DJ Guppyfish. Hey, I was on your stream for a moment earlier today. I didn't get a chance to look at it. I was actually at dinner, so I didn't get a chance to see anything. Uh, or talk or anything. Couldn't even hear it. Let's see. Anybody else came in? Germany. Germany has joined the chat. Yes, you have. Awesome. Nice interview with Mexicali DJ. I'll have to go back and watch that. Let's look at what else I've got here. let me see. How do I go back? It's not wanting me to go back. Do. We'll figure it out. Nope, I don't want that. But it doesn't matter. Way back, so that's good. Oh man, too far back. Figure this thing out one of these days. Anyhow, let's go back to the zoo. I still haven't had a chance really to figure this out much at all. This new software, and I've just got tons of things going on with work, and I've got all these cool killifish and stuff that I'm breeding. Uh, it takes a while. Let's see what else came in. Let's jump back. Oh, I was gonna. Man, this display is kind of cool. I love this display. If you look, it says caution hiking. There's snakes and caution venomous snakes in the area. This cool little setup, and you got this little bridge. Well, right here underneath this bridge is a perfect spot. It's a cottonmouth. It's really hard to tell. I could not get a better angle. I tried and tried, but I could not get a better angle of this thing. But right under there's a cottonmouth sitting right underneath of that wood little path. So it was a really cool display. Some more of the display. I swear I'll figure this out and do a better job. The whole park is laid out with a lot of natural stuff, which I really liked. When you walk through it, sometimes it's just like you're out there out there, in the wild, just walking around. So it's pretty cool. Let's see if anything else came in. For flagfish, shrinking, like getting enough to eat, wasting. Oh man, that kind of sucks. Let's look at some more photos. Bandwidth issues, but I should have I have a high speed internet connection. Tell me if it's acting weird or anything. So this is a cool exhibit. You walk around underneath at a waterfall to go to see the bears. Pretty neat. Another nice exhibit. This is their herpetarium. This is where all the reptiles and amphibians are housed. Extremely well done. Yeah. It's a crocodile monitor. This is a really good looking one too. And he was very active walking around his cage. So man, just man, absolutely beautiful. Manchu viper, I think is what they're called. Something like that. I can never pronounce it right. So you get the idea here. Let's see if we can jump out. Anything else that really stands out? Let's try this video. Hopefully it'll play. There you go. Yeah, there's no sound. But this is what you see when you walk in here. This is one of the first. Well, for me, it was one of the first exhibit. So hopefully the video is looking good. Hey, Zen Ginger, how are you? Tell me if that video looked okay. It's popping up a warning saying it may be a poor quality, but I shouldn't have any kind of quality issues. So let's see if I can go back. I'm trying to play a video. It doesn't want to act right. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Ah, too far. Yeah, way too far. Not a big deal. Let me get back in. Well, it should be right there. Yeah, okay. Just got clicked. No problem. So, you get the idea of the zoo here. See if there's anything else that's really awesome. I mean, I spent all day there. Really, really enjoyed it. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot to mention it. When I went down to Tim's, yeah, it's not very quality because this is a cell phone picture, super zoomed in. Uh, but video seems pretty good. Okay, good. I'm glad it's okay. Driving down there, there's bald eagles in my area, but they're not. I've only seen a couple, and usually they're flying, and sometimes pretty high. You can just barely tell what they are. But man, this one was pretty close to the road. Definitely a mature, nice, beautiful, mature bald eagle. And the cool part is seeing the eagle was awesome, and that was pretty cool. Oh man, that's not what I wanted. Okay, let's go back. See if I play this video. I got some cool video. It's probably not going to be very good quality because this was on a cell phone and I'm playing it over the internet. But it came down and grabbed the fish. I saw it grab the fish. I couldn't get the angle right on my camera, so I had to drop off. But it sat there and was eating this fish, and it looked like a catfish. You really can't tell in this video, but I'm pretty sure it was a catfish it grabbed. That was the first time I've seen a bald eagle grab a fish and eat it, which I thought was way cool. Something I don't get to see every day, for sure. Let's see if anybody else popped in. Nope. Let's go back. Let's see if we can. Nope, it keeps jumping all the way back up. That's irritating. Sorry, I don't think it's the last video I had to play anyhow. Let's go back. All right. So that was my day Saturday. Went to, oh yeah, I did do another thing Saturday too. I saw, visited Tim, and then went down to the Camel Park Zoo. After the zoo, actually it was on Sunday, I went to the zoo and stuff. I didn't do much else on Saturday, but Sunday, I went to the fossil, the mammoth dig. They have this big mammoth site in Waco. And I guess some guys were walking around the woods and ended up just stumbling across. Uh, Man, just stumbled across these bones in the woods. Luckily, one of them had taken some paleontology classes, and well, not paleontology. Yeah, it was for paleontology. He was in somebody's class, whatever, and realized these bones were old. They were not new, and man, and they were different. So it took a while for him to convince somebody to come out and take a look. But when they came down and took a look, they found the mammoth site, and I've forgotten how many. It was like 20 or 30 mammoths they've already pulled out of here, which is pretty incredible. They've also found some other uh, animals too, like this, the western camel. Still don't know what story about it is. They're still working on trying to figure out why it's there and all that good stuff. But pretty cool they found a camel. So this is what you can kind of see whenever you're standing there looking. Oops, a little too far. I got a little carried away. There we go. So you could see that the whole tusker here and the skull on this one here was destroyed. They're not sure why. But it's possible that somebody ran it over with a tractor or something at one time. I'm not sure exactly how far down this is. But there's the adult, there's a juvenile, and there's an adult. What else do we have? There's the camel down at the bottom. There's a little different angle, the same one. This is really cool. Um, it's kind of neat to think that there was all these. Uh, hey, Dee Dee, there was things like, you know, mammoths, not woolly mammoths. These are just mammoths. So a little different. Pretty cool day. So I went there. It's like $6 to go, and they take you on a little guided tour, and they talk to you about the area and stuff, and the stories about how it was set up. So as soon as you walk into the building, this is kind of what you see. This big pit down here. It's interesting because these bones are not petrified. So they're not petrified wood, they're calcified. And the difference is the calcium is it's just basically calcium deposit now, and it can dissolve easily. So if you spill water on these bones, they actually start dissolving a little bit. Especially if you had a little bit of an acidic type of water, it would be a problem. So they make you leave all your drinks outside. You're not allowed to bring any water into this building to preserve it. I thought was kind of interesting. Have another view. View of the same. And it's the nice little trail walking back into the place. Actually, that's Camel Park Zoo. That's how you get into Camel Park. All right, let's jump back here. So that was some of the zoo stuff. Oh man, and this is kind of cool. I'll show you this. This is an exhibit, a bear exhibit. You can see the bear over here. These are wild vultures. This exhibit was basically built where their rookery was at. uh, originally. So these guys just hung around and and started living here, drinking water and eating leftover bear meat. I'm sure bear food. I mean, they just kind of hang out. These are just wild birds, which is kind of neat to see about any vultures that close. And the mammoth bones weren't crushed by the tanks like the escape tunnels were. Let's see. Look in the chat real quick. Hey, Shady Grady. Hey, everyone. It feels like I'm sitting on a couch with my friends. Oh, yeah, heck yeah, it does. That's what's fun about this. You're just kind of hanging out with everybody. So let's go. Let's see what else we got. There's some other neat stuff. I think there's another one here. Oh, yeah, the alligators. Alligators, it was cool. I mean, these guys were coming right up. I'm only like a foot from this gator. And the whole thing is just set up so well. I love it. Okay, so that's most of the zoo. Yeah, you guys have been to zoos before. This is a pretty one. I think we went through most of those. What else we got going on? What did I miss? Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw this at all on Facebook or anything, but wife designed me some nice new business cards. Oh, that's a crappy picture of one. It's all fuzzy and stuff. Duck meat on my hands. She must have handed it to me. I was working in the fish room. Funny. So let's back up here. All right, this is all right. So I decided to go out to the Fort Worth Nature Center and do some hiking around. This, I think, was Monday. I took Monday off work. I was like, man, it's too nice to be inside. So the Fort Worth Nature Center is a nature center in Fort Worth. It is, I think it's 3,800 square, 3,700, 3,900, something like that of acres. Not square anything, of acres. It is huge. You can't really walk through it, and several days you can't even get through it all, which makes it way cool. The area I'm in is called the Cross Timbers Trail. So this is the Cross Timbers Trail. I was asked to kind of do some work. My passion and my thing I'm well known for is doing herpetology. So looking for reptiles and amphibians, doing surveys and things like that for them, something I do. Well, there's a new manager for the outside portion of the nature center, and he's a herpetologist too, and he loves fish, the native stuff. So he asked me if I could come out and start working on some surveys with the Herpetological Society, because I'm the president of the Dallas Herpetological Society also. So of course I said, heck yeah, man, I got all the access I want. I go anywhere I want to go. It's like all you have to do is come back and tell me what you find, basically. Document it. So I was like, cool. So there's an area that people really haven't done a whole lot of work in. So I wanted to check out, just kind of do a scouting, really is what I was doing. So I went to an area pretty far back in there. I think I walked about 6 miles back in this thing. And part of it was pretty rough territory. There are gators out here. There are alligators, and there's a few alligator nests that I was in the vicinity of, but I don't think I could get across the river to get to the other side of where the actual nests are at. But I'm not positive. I just didn't find any. I wasn't really looking for nests either. So the first part of it looks pretty open. It's pretty easy going. It's easy. It's easy walking. Uh, Kind of good areas you can see. This used to be a creek bed. It's hard to tell, but this is a creek, and everything is so dry right here. We're under a serious drought. This probably has water in it most of the time, but I bet most of the summer this did not have any water in it. It just dried out. And you can tell there's definitely water in the area with all the shells. So, yeah. And then we finally get some water. So I go, this is way back up in there. Really cool. This is the part of the Trinity River. Hard to tell here, but I was documenting some fish. You can kind of tell on this one maybe a little bit, but these are golden top minnows. Go back and take a look at the chat here. Yeah, the golden top minnows, I just documented those. They're well known for the area, but I don't know if anybody's documented them all the way up there. So I figured, hey, I'll take a picture and document them. Document that. Let's see if anybody else has come in. Are you a park ranger, Mark? No, I'm not a park ranger. Uh, I actually work for AT&T. Definitely not a park ranger, but I could be. I take people on tours when they want to go looking for reptiles or amphibians at some of the nature centers. I've done surveys at a bunch of different ones around here. I wouldn't say everyone, but quite a few different ones. So I'm familiar with those guys. And when I was doing it actively, I just come up there and no one would ever make me pay. It was just kind of like, come on in and do what you want to do. And I would do that, and we would bring a bunch of people out, and it was a lot of fun. All right, I knew I would see one of these. Anybody know what this is? These have such a bad reputation. Uh, this is a cottonmouth, western cottonmouth, and he's across the tiny little. It wasn't even a creek; it was just like an inlet area with some water. I did photograph videoing, but videos aren't playing right. Not much to see. And did see a. This is a plain belly water snake. One of the ways you can tell that it's not venomous, if you look at the face right here on the upper lip, you see these little black bars. I'm hoping you can see that in the video. Uh, but so I know you're talking about getting wounded animals last. Getting wounded animals. That I am a sub-permitted licensed rehabber. So that's just a wildlife rehabber. So people find injured stuff, and I bring them in, triage it, and all that good stuff. That's just part of being a licensed rehabber, at least sub-permitted. Okay, so back to what I was showing here. The little bars on the upper lip of these things, that designates a non-venomous snake. There are no venomous snakes in all the Americas, anywhere in the Americas that have. If it's venomous, it does not have these bars. There is no venomous snakes that have the bars on the lips. We look around the whole world and started really looking deep, and we found a couple that have some bars. There's a few that had these vertical bars, but they were all in different parts of the world, not here. So it's pretty safe to say if you see these vertical bars, not a problem. And if you also, the way to identify these as a plain belly water snake, you see this nice little light colored barring that's surrounded by darker color, and then he's got just like a brown. This is a very, very classic and normal looking plain belly water snake. Sometimes these can be nearly black, but this is kind of a really normal looking one. Oops, wrong way. Let's see what else we got. These isn't all the photos. I cherry picked some photos out of here. Let's see what chat has to say. The Zinginger. The camp at Lake Bachman and the wildlife there was darn near breathtaking. Yeah, yeah. Roadrunners coming into the campsite, eagles flying around, and there's spiders and lizards everywhere. Such a neat place. Do you live in this area, Zinginger? Or is that you're just visiting? Oh man, I keep hitting the wrong button. So this is kind of what the water looked like. It did rain a couple days before this, and it rained pretty hard, so it muddied everything up a little bit. But it didn't really do much for raising the water levels. It just kind of made everything muddy and nasty. Oh yeah, let's go. Hang on, we're gonna go forward a little bit here. I guess I was forward. That's where I wanted to go. Ran across this. I almost didn't pay attention to it. I walked right by it. This is by the entrance, right? The very first slide I showed you for the nature center. There's a little inlet there, and they have a small bridge that goes across, and they have concrete ends on each end of it before it goes into the trail. This was on that trail, and I was like, oh, I walked right by it, and it caught my attention. Oh, that's red. Oop, spun around. And if you look real close, kind of crazy guy, people looking at me because I was taking a stick and kind of going through a bunch of scat. But if you look, this is crawfish legs. See all these crawfish in here? So, let's make it a little bigger. So to me, there's only one thing this can be, and that's an otter, river otter. They are known to be in the area, so this is not like oh, you're in Houston? Oh, cool. Yeah, I go to Houston every once in a while. We just did we do an annual killifish show in the Houston area. Maybe next year you can kind of stop by. It's a lot of fun. Anyhow, so yeah, they're definitely there. So I showed this to my friend there who works there, and he said, "Oh yeah, they've been seeing sightings and everything." So it wasn't anything unusual, but still, it's kind of cool to see. And people walking by it all day, never notice these little things like this. But if you really know what you're looking for, you can find proof that there was definitely a river otter there, and you can tell fresh. This thing has just been there. Here's my card again. Okay, let's go back to where we're at. Okay, so the if you're ever in the Fort Worth area, and you get some time to kill, man, go to Fort Worth Nature Center. It's just so awesome. There's so many different habitat types. I think there's 7 different soil types in North Texas, and they're all there at the nature center. And you've got prairies, you've got forest, you've got upland forest, you've got uh, flooded forest, you've got the actual river running through, which you can kayak on. You can bring a kayak, drop in right there and kayak. You can fish out of your kayak, but you can't fish from the bank from the nature center. Kind of some rules there. But if you want to go fishing, get in a boat and go fishing all you want. Uh, it is. What else is there? There's a marsh areas in there. Uh, there's gators. There used to be a really, really big gator. I want to say giant, but I think it was around 10, 11 feet. That's pretty big for North Texas. But some rednecks came up there and shot it. Thought they said it was self defense. Well, they later found they saw the gator. They went back home, got their AR-15s, got in some boats, went up there and shot it. They panicked whenever it had a tag in the back. They thought maybe it was a GPS tag or something like that, so they panicked, and that's why they kind of told themselves they had shot it. And all that was a passive transponder, so you have to actually get close to it. It'll ping back to you where it's at. So that was more of a location thing only, but it was tagged. That was a shame that but you guys have to come out there and do that. Let's see what else do we got. Um, we talked. Oh man, what else? Let's go some more. Oops, wrong way. Oh man, I actually went through the nature center. Did I show? I didn't think I showed the. Oh no, it's on here. There were some really thick areas of these plants. I can't remember the name of the plants. But in the plants were trees had fallen down in like in a marshy area, and the limbs were sticking in there. So I mean, I went out there and I knew this could happen, but I didn't want to overheat. It ended up being a very cool day. It never got very warm at all. And the sticks and stuff in there just shredded my legs. I was barely moving through that stuff so slowly and carefully, and it still just shredded me. So I'm gonna have to definitely have to take it a little easier next time, be a little bit smarter. Hey George, RB3, welcome. Kiro, Mark, you know how to determine who is a Texan in the chat, don't you? The stars at night are big and bright. Funny. My aunt was actually studying up in Dallas to become a master naturalist and wanted to do herpetological rehab. Her name was Terry Richardson. I think I know her. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know that you know her. She passed on. Okay, but that Terry Richardson, that sounds real familiar. Um, but yeah, I've taught the national naturalist class for the herbit when they're doing their. Well, I've given the two different things. They have two different things. Whenever you're trying to become a master naturalist, you take a series of classes. I've taught those classes, and I've actually given a monthly meeting where we talked about things like the Brazos River water snake and just how to identify herps in general. Lots of cool stuff like that. So I've been definitely part of the master naturalist program. I'm very aware of it. Deep in heart of Texas. uh, Kiro, you're sub to Texas Snake ID. That'd be interesting, no? Let's see. Oh, just sub. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kuro at Rat Snake. I must be trying to get my. Yeah, that's the link to the Texas Snake ID. I also have a website called TexasSnakeID.com, and it's for helping people identify snakes in North Texas. That's kind of what I specialize in. And I've got a Facebook group if you're really interested in what's here in Texas or basically throughout the whole country, sometimes the world. I've got a Facebook group called What Kind of Snake Is This? North Texas Educational Group. We had to add the educational group on because people were trying to say we were selling stuff and it was just a mess. Long story there. But that's the group. It's got about 190,000 people in it now. So I started that about 7 or 8 years ago, I think about 8 years ago now. I was going to go, but decided to watch this. Glad I did. Well, we'll stream afterwards. Oh, okay. Sorry, man. I didn't know you were going to go. I just pick it. I'm such a small channel. I just only second time I've live streamed. I just pick a time to go because I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. At least I hope not. I think you'll love your stream. I appreciate that, man. Uh, Need thick boots. Well, Yeah, the mud boots are going to be hot, and you're going to have a hard time moving around. Most of the area wasn't bad at all. No problems open for open woodlands, like I showed a picture of. Just this one area is about a quarter mile long, maybe a half mile long, that I couldn't really get around. It was just so thick of that stuff. Man, it sucked. I'm pretty much healed up now. Thank you, Zen, for participating in calling. Let's go. The shoot cougars that make it to South Iowa too. Totally unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. Thank you, man. Appreciate the stream. Appreciate the encouragement there, George. Uh, of course. Let me see friends. Clearly, let me put myself back on. Let me go back to here. It's getting 370 musical crowd. Shoot, confirm. Only called for for Texan Skitty. Don't worry about target audience. Maybe shin guards would have been good. The thing is, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So now that I know what I'm getting myself into, and the temperatures are dropping down, what I'll end up doing is wearing pants. I've got some good, what are they? The fire hose pants. They're not Carhartts. I got Carhartts too. But I got the other stuff, man. If I really want to protect it, wear those. Nothing's getting through it, but they are hot, really hot. So that's the trade off. I have some other pants I could wear. If I just wore jeans, I'd have been fine. But no, I wanted to worry about overheating, but didn't overheat. It was a nice day. So during this whole thing, I ended up finally getting some uh, striatums, Aphysemon striatum, killifish to lay some eggs. I've been struggling with those. I've had them twice now. This is the second time I've had them, and I just have not been able to get them to lay eggs. I laid a couple eggs, but they weren't fertile. So what I did was I decided, okay, let's just go with some rainwater. So I had to have a tote outside. It's 250 gallons of 275 gallon tote. It's full of rainwater, and I just swapped the water out basically and dropped their TDS down, dropped the pH down because it was up to probably around 8.85, so that's way too high, and dropped everything down, all the KH and the uh, general hardness and the KH down. So when I did that 2 days later, I started getting eggs, and I'm still getting eggs. So that was the key. Some of these guys, most killifish like it kind of soft and slightly acidic water or neutral water, but a lot of them don't have to have that. You read it, so no, it's got to be bred like this. Well, I've been breeding stuff in my hard water. Well, it's not really hard. It's weird. It's 8.6 pH. The KH is pretty high, and the GH, the calcium stuff, is pretty low. It's kind of weird. So it's kind of in the middle. And I seem to be doing pretty good, except for a couple species that I've learned that, at least the ones I have, you have to have that different water. Ugh. Yeah, it just means I do a toolbox next time. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. So let's jump back over here. Tell you what, yeah, I got some more pictures I can show you. And I got some new species of killifish too. I had a friend of mine. I ordered some from a friend of mine. He had Epiplytes lamontii, and so I ordered some lamontii and they came in the mail, no problem. And they're little guys. There's two pair. I try to order things in two pair if I can. That way, if something happens to one of those fish, I usually have some kind of backup. You know, it's at least one of them is going to make it. Uh, in that way, if you lose one, you have still a pair. That's what's nice about that. So let's jump back in and show you some more pictures here. I'm going to figure out how to do the pictures better. But there was a local show, fish show, in the DFW area, and went to the show, and we vended there. Space, I don't know, about fourth time probably I vended, and didn't do too bad. I sold quite a bit of stuff here, not bad at all. As you can see, some of these are already empty. I already sold out a couple of times. I got around taking pictures. Uh, but this is my new logo too. I designed the logo. My wife designed that what do you call it, card, the business card. She did a great job. I'm really proud of that business card. It's just, man, it's so awesome. I wear farmers. Defender sleeves to protect my arms from getting like your legs. Maybe you should start wearing. Maybe you should start selling Defender socks. No kidding, man. Anything went better than what I did. That was just not a good idea. Uh, I forgot I could do this. Ha ha. Totally forgot. I, ra- I raise those killifish. They're beautiful. They're so beautiful, and the colors change all the time. I know. I love killifish. I am stuck on those, so big time. But a friend did bring me some too. He brought me Aphyosemians Region Bacchae. I don't have pictures of these guys yet. I wish I did. Well, I should have pulled some pictures off the internet or something too. But and then also have Scripto Aphyosemians Waceii. Man, I can't pronounce some of those scientific names. But both of those are really beautiful fish. I can't wait to start uh, working on raising those right now. I have 6 pairs right now. 6 pairs of what? The uh, Lamontii? I think it's what you got to be talking about. My flagfish were so pretty. The fins were magical. Yeah, I love flagfish. I throw some outside. I've bred those guys outside, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure which one I'm going here. Let's find out. Yeah, there we go. There's a picture of my table. I try to make it pretty professional. Everything's all labeled, and uh, it's a fun show. I have a couple other friends of mine. Well, one other friend of mine right now that has killifish, so he and I got a chance to talk, and we will swap fish. If he has something a species that I don't have, and I have something he has, we trade all the time. And if I need something, he gives it to me, and I give stuff to him. If somebody comes to my table and they're wanting something I'm out of, or that I don't have, and but I know he does, I send them to him, and he sends people to me. The fish family is so great. That's what I love about it. We can. I'm not. I'm competing with him in a way, but it's more of a friendly way and a way that makes me better. So that's kind of the way we look at it. Yeah, we're competing a little bit, but not for money. It's more like for clout. Hey, I got some cool stuff. You got some cool stuff, and it just keeps pushing each other. And we get to talk to each other. We live in the area. There's not many people here in the DFW area that keep killifish. That's kind of sad. I set up. This is the first time I've actually had an aquarium out at one of these shows. Set this aquarium up to uh, show people that they are community fish also. But the fish I put in here were kind of small. Even my Achilles were too small. So next time, I think I'm going to put bigger fish in there probably and put more. It was just kind of a test to see how it would work out. Looked pretty cool. People loved it. I had some Aphyosemians Australian oranges. People walked by and those oranges would grab their attention, and they would immediately ask me if I had any more of those. And man, I sold out of those pretty quick. But I'm gonna start focusing on raising more of those. Let's see. As in Ginger says, I've never had a killifish, but I've always wanted clown rockets. I'm hoping to get those going too. I tried it one time when I first started keeping killies, but I had too much going on and I did not focus enough on them. But I think I can do pretty good with those. The Gardner are gorgeous. Yes, I have some really nice Gardner eye. That's a really good one to start with too. Uh, and but I need a better lids for my tank. Yes, please put lids on them. I had somebody at the show buy a couple killifish. He's another vendor. Talked to him several times about killifish. I know I've mentioned they jump. You have to have lids. But he finally bought a couple pair and he messaged me, "Hey, do killifish jump? Or you ever have one jump?" I was like, "Oh no." So yeah, he found out the hard way. Unfortunately, I can't spell it correctly, but the ones Mark just got, yeah, the Epiplates lamontii. They're really cool, man. I love them, and I like. There's some of the other ones too. The Epi, not yeah, Epiplates, but the other ones. I can't remember how you say it. Slipped my mind. But Dei, I've got some of those. They're growing up. I've got quite a few fish that I need to put on Vivi. I'm planning on selling Vivi. I might get a Get Gills too. Get Gills account and start selling on there. I'm not so sure about Aquabid. You know, it's all right. I don't know. Mixed feelings. I think about Aquabid. I've never tried selling anything on there. Probably worked just fine. But and this light, you might find this kind of cool. This light is actually a light designed for like live streams or stuff like that. It usually sits on comes with a stand, two in a pack for like $39, I think at Walmart, and they're USB powered. And I plug them into a battery pack. Is all I had to do, and it stayed full brightness all day long. It was awesome. I highly recommend those little things. Those are really cool. Got one on me right now. It's not doing a whole lot. There's some more to my wares. Just normal stuff. People are asking what these are. You may not know, but killifish. Some of them, like this one right here, the Nothiobranchus egri. These are annuals. And there's some South American annuals, and there's annuals around all over the place. But a lot of times they breed in uh, substrate. So substrate breeders. They'll breed in these bowls, lay their eggs in here, and fertilize them. And then about once a week, I pull the bowl out and squeeze out all the water out of it, and take everything. The eggs will be in here with the peat moss. And well, this is actually cocoa core, not peat, but that's code. You use peat or cocoa. And I put it in a Ziploc bag, label it, stick it on the shelf for however many months that it takes for them to develop. So it's pretty cool. And then after that time period, I simply put them in our container, put water in there. Within 24 hours, I'll have a bunch of babies. Within usually about 48 hours, so they're all the fry are hatched out of the eggs. Uh, so it's pretty neat way of doing it. And then, but usually a lot of those fry are really small, so you have to use infusoria and things like that to get them bigger. But they grow super fast, so just a few days of infusoria, then you get them on the baby brine shrimp. So it's very cool. Let's see what else we got. See what pictures. Oh yeah, here's. We'll get to that here in a second. Let me look here. All different patterns and colors. Yeah, there's different patterns, colors, body shapes, breeding habits, types of. There's like 1,500 killifish, and they're from every continent except for Australia and Antarctica. So you can imagine all the habitat types and everything. I think we mind jumping to the next hub. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Very cool. Aquavid makes me itchy. Too much to go wrong, and it always get snaked at the last second on auctions. Yeah, and you got to be careful too if you're buying things from overseas. There's a lot of fish, a lot of killifish, and there's a lot of killifish eggs you can buy that are from out of the country. Anytime you're doing that, it's a little bit suspect. You get yourself into legal troubles. Never buy anything, no killifish whatsoever, eggs or anything from that the fish lives in Brazil, unless you have a code where it lives in another country. Then you better be able to back it up because right now Brazil's being jerks and are saying no killifish have ever been allowed to leave Brazil legally, so they're all illegal. It's craziness, but that's what's going on. So I kind of stay away from that stuff on Aquabid because I don't know what I'm doing. Anyhow, let's take a look here. I probably have a. Oops. Okay. There's a couple pictures here. Not a whole lot. Let's go to this one. So I mentioned I'm part of a rehabber, a wildlife rehab. The main rehabbers have a facility right now out of their house, and it's a small house, small backyard. They do the best they can, but man, uh, they need a bigger room. So unfortunately, her her uh, father passed away, but she ended up getting being able to split the money from like half the ranch that he had. So there's quite a bit of money involved, and so they were able to take that money and buy another property. So this is, I think they bought, was it this 5 acres, 5 or 10 acres? I can't remember off the top of my head, but they bought some land and a house on it, and they already bought and they're planning on moving a large double wide mobile home onto the front of it, and that's going to be like their triage area and the area they people can drop things off at, and maybe have some animals out there for people to see. Um, so this is kind of what we're doing, building some of these enclosures. So all these enclosures are just partly done. So it's hard to can't really see in this photo. I was too busy working to take photos. This is a little better example. This is partway done. What they do is they put these up, and there's gates on strategic areas, and then underneath they drag 4x6 squared um, wire fencing, and we cut it and slide it underneath of that so it goes back to about halfway. And through all the walls. So there's about a foot or so that sits on the outside. So it goes from the inside all the way around and it tucks onto the outside. The reason we do that, and then we zip tie everything all together, and eventually they'll put mulch in there, and they'll put what else? Mulch and whatever in there, and the grass will start growing up, and it'll pull it down. This is for things like coyotes, that type of animals that dig. So when they can't dig, so there's like 4 foot of that screen that comes. Of the fencing that comes back here. So animals normally go to the edge of the fence, like by this gate, and they'll hit the fence and they'll start digging right here. Well, they're going to be digging on top of that fencing, and it's attached on the outside, so there's no way they can't get over it and kind of get down around it, so they're fenced in. The tops will be completely enclosed, covered, and sealed in, so things can't get out because a coyote can get out of this. It's a 6 foot fence, not a problem. They can jump that and climb it. They'd be out in no time. So this has to be secured a lot better. The other fencing I was talking about, I'm showing you. This one is for fawns. They get a lot of baby deer in. So at certain times of year, usually during the spring, uh, people will find fawns, and they'll find them by themselves, and they'll assume that they've been abandoned. And they'll go and look around, don't see mom or anything, and they find this little fawn, and they pick it up, and they think it needs rehab, take it to a rehabber, and they're going, okay, where'd you get it? And they're, well, beside the road somewhere. I saw it in their state sometimes. It's craziness. It's like if they could take it back and there's nothing wrong with it, most of the time there's nothing wrong with these spawns. It's like you can take it right back, put it right back where you got it from, do it now. A lot of times people have no idea where they got it from. And sometimes the animal is sick or is injured or mom has died. It's pretty obvious the thing is losing weight really bad. Then we take them in and try to rehab them until they get big enough to be released. Then we release them. So that'll be the spot they get to be held in until it's release time. So it's pretty cool. If you do find a deer, a fawn like that, there's some things to look at to kind of determine if it needs help or not. One of the ways to tell is if the fawn is on the ground, it's curled up in a ball, it's quiet, it's not moving, it seems to be trying to hide, leave it alone. It's going to be a perfectly healthy fawn doing what it's supposed to do. A fawn that's in trouble of some sort will usually be up walking around crying for mom and look a little thin. That gives you an idea that this poor animal has been without its mom for quite a while. It's losing weight and needs some help. So those are the ones you grab and get them to a rehabber as soon as you can. And it is illegal to keep one and try to raise it on your own, as with most wildlife. So please don't do that. Let's see here. Make sure I covered everything. I think I got most of the stuff, most of the good highlights. But um, oh, let's go back over here. I'm going to show you this picture. This this is kind of cool. This is vinegar eels. This is not the typical way most people keep vinegar eels. Most of the time, you have them in a container of vinegar that's half vinegar, half water. You put some apples in the bottom of it, and then you put some of the floss stuff in the neck of the bottle or top or whatever, however you want to do it, and then you use the harvest from that. This would be considered a hyperdense culture of vinegar eels. So what I've done is this is Rice Krispie treats, just like I do microworms. So this is Rice Krispie treats, but instead of using water like I would do for microworms, I use vinegar, 100% vinegar in the bottom. Got some microworms out of a culture that's going. Put some on the bottom here. Got quite a few of them in there. Try to get full culture's worth if I could get them in here, and then left it for several weeks. This is probably 2.5 weeks or so it took. But now you see the microworms. This is all microworms up here. They're climbing the walls just like not microworms. Sorry, these are vinegar eels, but they're climbing the walls just like microworms. So I'm hoping to start using these so I can harvest from this and then put them in put them in my new fry. Things like some of the Nothriobranchius or some of the other annuals that hatch out really small that need infusoria. Sometimes they're just big enough to eat the vinegar eels too. So I usually put a mix of vinegar eels and infusoria. So I'll mix it up and see how that works out. Let's see if there's anything else that I missed. Oh, this is kind of cool. I forgot to even mention this. This is bizarre to me. This is a ground sloth. This is just that last piece of thing, last knuckle, basically a last joint on the finger of a giant ground sloth. Those things must have been massive, and it's just a weird looking, uh, weird looking finger. Ginger, wait, Rice Krispie treats or just Rice Krispies. In fact, I use the store brand stuff, the cheapest Rice Krispies I can get, not the treats, obviously. No butter, no margarine, no marshmallows. I just use the regular old Rice Krispies. I know other people use for microworms. They use what do you call it? Oatmeal, and they'll use what else do they? Oh, potato flakes. I've heard the potato flakes smell really bad, and the other doesn't smell that great either. But I found the Rice Krispie treats. Not treats. I keep saying treats. The Rice Krispies actually don't smell bad at all. Sometimes they don't smell at all. And if there's a smell at first, it's kind of a yeasty smell, kind of like you get that fresh bread smell. There's a period it smells a little bit not bad, but it just has a little bit of a. Have you ever been around a beer brewery? It kind of smells like that a little bit, not real strong, but it's great. That's the way I do my microworms. So that ends up that works really well. It's one of the things I enjoy using these microworms. I feed quite a bit of stuffed microworms. If I've forgotten to do uh, what do you call those? Brine shrimp, baby brine shrimp. So I'll do baby brine shrimp, but if I forgot or got home and it's too late to start them, because if I start them too late in the evening, they don't hatch out until too late in the evening the next day. So it's about 24 hours. So sometimes I'll have to actually hatch them out as soon as I come home from work. I'll start them. So sometimes it'll be an extra hour. So the next night it'll be 6 o'clock or 6:30 or so when they're hatched out and ready to feed. And then if I wait and feed and then get the batch going again, it'll be another hour later. So it'll be 7 o'clock, and then eventually it's too late. So when I try to get two batches going, as soon as I get home from work, I start a batch. Then I go out feeding, doing whatever I want. Whenever I get to it, I'll pull the other when they're ready to go. I'll feed them off, and then I'll just leave that, clean it out and just leave it till the next day. Next day, I get home, I immediately start a batch, and then I continue over and over again. So that way, I always have plenty of baby brine shrimp ready to go. Okay, it makes more sense. I don't know. Yeah, some people may hear that and think I was really meaning Rice Krispie treats. I wonder if you could use. Sure, there's no reason you couldn't use uh, rice flake baby. I shouldn't be a problem at all. I'm getting tired. Curl says that sounds like how people are. It's a baby brine with baby brine shit. Oh, it's baby brine. Okay. I know you're saying this is how fast you go through the vinegar cultures. Uh, I don't really use vinegar. I use vinegar grills when I'm hatching out Nothia. That's the annual Achilles. That's the only time I use those. So I have great part about them is you can stick them up on the shelf for a year or more. And I've got thriving cultures of them. They're just sitting there waiting. The ones I'm doing now with the hyper dense, I think you're gonna have to keep on that uh, more often. And I know some people say they can only keep microworms like a month, maybe a month and a half or so, and they get rid of them. I've got cultures going from the beginning of the year. Uh, all I do is just add more Rice Krispies to it, and if it dries out a little bit, add a little bit of moisture. Usually, it gets kind of thins out, and kind of gets soupy. So I'll just add a bunch more Rice Krispie treats right down the middle. Um, Rice Krispie treats, man. I just Rice Krispies. I don't know why I keep saying treats. Maybe I'm wanting some Rice Krispie treats. Uh, yes, I do feed Grindle worms, not white worms. I tried white worms, but I had to keep those in a wine cooler in the garage, and I kept forgetting they were out there because they were kind of out of sight, out of mind. When you got ADHD and you're all over the place, you just forget they're there. So I kept forgetting them and forgetting to feed them, and it seemed to grow a little too slow. But I do use the Grindel worms. That seems to work pretty well. I don't know. I mix with them. I know other killifish keepers that they use a lot of Grindel worms, and that's one of their primary food sources is Grindel worms. I like them. I mean, they seem to be fine. I can keep them going. I need to redo my cultures to get them. They're starting to get a little old. I'm worried about crashing. Shady Grady says I saw a guy that's keep keeping pitch simple. Just squeeze the sponge filter out for the baby killie. Yeah, I tried that. Okay, I saw that. And I was like, oh man, that looks really cool idea. So what I did is I tried that and I took a microscope and pulled keeping fish simple. I saw that video and I thought, oh man, this is gonna be great because I've got some great um, sponge filters have been, man, they're pretty bad and everything. I thought this should be great. So I squeezed it out and let it sit like he did. I followed his rules. And instead of feeding, I just sucked up and put it under a microscope slide and looked. I didn't see a single Infusoria in there. I saw nothing alive moving. I tried it multiple times, different depths. Got some of the molding in the bottom of the little container I had, some of the middle of the water column. I started it all up and tried it. I tried multiple things, multiple ways. I could not find a single living organism that was moving in there. So for me, that wasn't going to work. The way I do it, when I'm making Fostoria cultures, it's kind of easy. I have gallon jugs, and I got this from him too. He's the one that said to do this, so this worked. He had a bigger can, like a 5 gallon bucket. I think he tried this with, but I just do a gallon jug and a couple of them. I sit in the garage, and I want one of my tanks that's got a thick layer of algae at the bottom and some mulch, and I pulled that out, thought maybe a golf ball size, maybe a little bigger, maybe a racquetball size ball, threw it in there, filled it up with water. I had some nutritional yeast. I put about 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and I used 1 packet of dry yeast in there. Stirred that up, waited a couple of days. It turned white and started smelling bad, and I took a look with a microscope. Wow, it was teeming with life. Now I have those containers in the garage. After a while, you'll see them clear up and it'll stop smelling, and then the Infusoria will die way back. It won't be very many in there. So I keep them in the garage because I'm not feeding anything with Infusoria right now. But when I need them, all I do is fill because it's such evaporating. I don't even do anything with them at all. As long as there's water in it, I don't care. If I need Infusoria the next couple of days, I'll fill that container up with water, just regular old dechlorinized water. In fact, I use I don't dechlorinize that water. I run it through a carbon filter that I have built into my sink. So I just fill them up with water from that automatically removes chlorine without using any chemicals. I'll top them off, and then I'll put a couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast in there and a pack of dry yeast and wait a day. It takes like a day, 2 days max, and the whole thing will be completely white, milky white in there. And usually you're supposed to be able to see like little streamers of the Infusoria. No, man, this whole thing is solid white. I pull a little eyedropper out and put it on a microscope everywhere, man. I got so many Infusoria. It's a dense culture of Infusoria. So that's just the way I did it. I mean, it could work different with other people. I'm not gonna say it never works. It just didn't work for me. And I and here's a little pro tip for you. If you want to save some money on a microscope, and you just if all you're wanting to see is that there's movement in there, and you want to see if there's tiny microscopic insects, you're not trying to identify anything. You're not trying to do anything fancy. Go if you have $1. I mean, Five Below. It's like a store. Usually everything's $5 or around $5 or less. Go in there and they get these little toy microscopes. I had to buy one to see if it worked, and to my amazement, it worked great. I could use that thing. No, it's not gonna be super. It's all kind of. It's not real sharp. You're not gonna see really cool detail, but you're gonna be able to see Infusoria in there easily. It's great for that. So that's what I use. It's so easy to set up. It's got a little LED light built into the bottom for lighting. It's really cool. It's so simple. It's cheap. If something happens to it, so what? It's $5.50 I think paid for it. So that's a really easy way to get a little microscope, especially if you're just looking for Infusoria. That's all you want. Let's see here. What's in the chat? Corio said maybe if you keep the sponge filter in a tank without any fish or anything, but at that point you're just culturing Infusoria. Right, exactly. But the tank I pulled. Actually, it was the same tank that I got the original Infusoria culture for those jars. The exact same aquarium that I pulled the sponge filters off, the nasty sponge filters out. So there's really no reason there should not have been in there, but it just didn't work. But yeah, I like what that guy does. He does a lot of cool stuff, and I like watching him. He's really, really good. Nick, let's see here. Nick from Keeping It Simple is a really smart kid. Yeah, although, but he's still young and has less experience. Plus, stuff in Australia just works different. It does. For a whole different side of the planet. I mean, it's it is different. There's different. He's got different stuff floating around in his air than we do that'll get in tanks and grow. But you know, uh, that's just the way it is. So that's just what I do. It doesn't work for everybody, and even the way I do it, if it's making Soria, may not work for you. It's very possible that just won't work because you don't have anything in your tank. But you can always try it. It's pretty cheap and simple. Let's see here. Outside in aquatics, I literally just saw a coyote in Hyde Park, Chicago, middle of the city. Yeah, here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, we have coyotes everywhere, and bobcats are in towns. People don't realize how many bobcats live in the little cities and towns, and they don't really mess with stuff mostly. Shitty growth. Do you ever use paramecium? I have a batch continually going for years now that I got. Uh, not particular paramecium. The infusoria, I know there's some paramecium in there, but I don't have a paramecium culture. Um, there's the fish guy's place. I have his card sitting right there. The fish guy's place. If you're looking for cultures of paramecium or green water, he's got so many different live foods and so many cool stuff. In fact, he's the guy that had the idea of using the hyperdense uh, what do you call it, worms, the vinegar eels, the hyperdense vinegar cultures. He sells the cultures already, ready to go. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, he's got something you can get. Yeah, it's ready to go. Zen Ginger, Sarah, I will do that. Just went and found it. Okay, yeah, check him out. Shitty Girl Fish Easy sells it on his website. Okay, fishy. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people sell it. It's not like that big a deal. I mean, it's not like it's. I keep forgetting I could do that. Woo-hoo. Anyhow, it's over an hour. I'm getting tired. I should have grabbed a bottle of water before I came in here. My mouth's dry now. It's been a long week, a long day. My work is even changing up some stuff, so I'm got to be with a whole new crew. My job is typically working inside offices all day long, wiring things up, replacing circuit cards, whatever needs to be done. But the new crew I'm going to be with, part of their responsibility is working on small, they call them remote terminals, RTs, out in the field. That the equipment inside the field that I work on sends sends a signal out there. Communicates back and forth through small boxes. Those boxes communicate to the neighborhood. Okay, so those guys go out in the field and they maintain those. They do things like cutting the grass around the outside of the thing of all things. Maintain those just like I do in the office, adding circuits, removing things, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be part of that crew, and they've already asked me if I want to start learning some of that stuff. So that sounds like fun. Get me out of the house. Maybe I'll see some more snakes and stuff out in the field. That'd be awesome. Maybe I'll see some wildlife every once in a while instead of inside of four walls. Although I do cover a couple of offices, I drive quite a lot, so I'm always looking for cool wildlife. So I think that is all. Thank you for joining me, everybody, and join me next week. And I have no idea what I'll do, but I think I want to call tomorrow night for the rest of the week. So next Thursday night, actually, I'll be on call technically, but I'll try to get on here because usually there's an evening guy working. I'll get a call out while I'm on here, but you never know. So until next time, thanks.